All right. Well, it's my honor to be here with Christine Hansen and Chris King. My name is Dan Davis, and I'm the founder of Franchise Forward. We are a consulting firm here in Omaha, Nebraska, which it's -5 out today, January January 23rd in Nebraska. But we're talking with these two because I love this brand that you guys represent. It's called Monster Mini Golf. Everybody since COVID went home and works at home and gets, kind of just stuck and never getting out. So now there's this kind of this craving to get out and have family entertainment centers are starting to grow and just having an experience. So this is definitely checking that box for me as far as, having a place to go. I have an 11-year-old daughter, and I'm a little ashamed of how much I've spent at Dave and Buster's here in Omaha in the last 3 years, and I'd love a different place to go, like just a variety. Anyway, so I've read on the news bowling alleys are coming back, any kind of family experience, and so this, like I said, is going to definitely check that box. And I myself and I have two other consultants on our team that we talk to clients all the time, and this is a brand I show all my clients that can afford it. It's not the least expensive franchise, but it's not the most expensive franchise. It's very affordable for what you're going to get. And Christine is the brand director for Monster Mini Golf. She's going to be the one when I send clients in. That's who you're going to talk to. So I'll let Christine maybe tell us a little bit about herself, and then we'll move on to Chris.
Everyone. Thank you so much, Dan, for having us on today's episode. I've been in franchising for a little over 10 years now. Most people accidentally fall into franchising, and that's also my story. My first job in franchising was a coordinator at a payroll and HI supplier for franchisees. But then I got into franchise funding, which I spent most of my career, and that's actually where I met Dan Davis and his team over the years. Today, my husband and I are multi-territory franchisees of a home service-based brand. And in addition to that, I am fortunate to be the director of franchise development for Monster Mini Golf under the Repham Group.
All right, Chris. Like I said, this is one of my favorite brands. We had a placement last year with a great guy named Sean. Sounds like he's doing good. Let's start with just a little bit about Monster Mini Golf. And why would somebody want to invest in your system? Just tell us a little bit about your history or Monster Mini Golf, or just take it any direction you want.
Yeah, thanks. First of all, Dan, thanks for having us. And yeah, you helped us place a wonderful candidate last year, and it was the first 3-pack in our entire history. So super exciting.
Oh, nice.
And when I say our history, we're not a new brand. I think in the past year, we're starting to kind of be seen more. We were organic sales for a long time, so we really didn't promote ourselves and get out there. So I liken us to one of the coolest things in entertainment that still no one's heard about. So to give you a little history, I mean, we are a legacy brand. We will turn 22 years old this year. The founders, started this thing with blood, sweat, and tears over 20 years ago. Very cool story. They just opened something in a dilapidated mill that they owned in Danielson, Connecticut. Blacklights, is part of our element, but they did it back then to hide the dirt in this place because they wanted to do mini golf, and you can't do mini golf in Connecticut because you could only be open 3 months of the year, 4 months of the year. So Patrick and Christina Vitaliano, the founders, were the first to bring mini golf indoors under black lights. We fast forward to 2015 is when I joined the company, and I've been in franchising. I've aged myself here, probably I think 29 years this year. And
Oh,
I
wow.
started with a children's fitness brand, years and years ago called My Gym, and I helped them go from 40 stores to about 320 in 32 countries. So in 2015, I wanted to leave that company. I just couldn't jump over my 5 best friends. It had nothing to do with
Yeah.
me. I loved it. I lived it. And I was a franchisee with my wife in that brand as well. And then I owned the company. So in 2015, I joined the Monster team. They had about 17. The founders had about 17 stores. Very, very cool. It just needed systems wrapped around it. So I worked with them for 10 years to build it to scale, to wrap systems around it, set the franchisee for success. In
Yep.
that time, that 10 years, we just grew organically. We didn't do any marketing, but we grew, but we opened 3 or 4 stores a year. But, we focused on support and training. It wasn't about how many stores you could open. It was about the
Sure.
stores that you open. Are they financially viable? Are they successful? Because the recipe is, if they're successful, you'll sell and open as many as you want if you've got the
Yeah.
system to support that. So I was their CEO. And then in 2023, we were at a franchise advisory council meeting, myself with the founders
Real,
and
real quick,
yeah.
Real quick, I was just gonna ask how many you're at 17, and then where are you guys at now as far as open locations?
Today we're open. We have 39 operational locations, and we have a
Wow.
total of 62 licenses. And then when
Okay.
myself and my 4 partners purchased the brand from the founders in January of 23, we had 26 operational and 29. So we've more than doubled the size of the company, growing
Yep.
responsibly. Some of it was just renewed energy and people doubling down in the system. And some of it was, just heading out to networks like yourself and partnering with great people that, are aligning us with the right candidate. One thing I'll say that's special is when we bought it, we're all multi-unit operators. So we're executives that are we have our hands in the dirt. I own 3, 2 of my partners own 4, another one of my partners own 2. So we really support and make decisions based on what's best for our franchisees because we're franchisees ourselves.
Yeah. Well, and I want to hit on this again just to make sure everybody knows, because I tell all my clients this is one of the only franchisee owned franchises I sell. And it's so unique because I used to be a franchisee and there was no better person to give suggestions or guide the business. Sometimes corporate, if they've never actually run a store, owned a store, been, boots on the ground, they don't understand what's happening. And so having somebody that owns a store, owns the franchise and owns their own location, plus is in leadership, it's just such a better guidance as far as the rest of the system on what they should do, what they shouldn't do. And I just love it. So I tell all my clients, this is the one they definitely should look at, even if I say mini golf and they roll their eyes because everybody says, well, I want a recession resistant or recession proof, which doesn't exist. But I always tell them, like, entertainment's never going to go anywhere. Bowling alleys are making a comeback, mini golf. I mean, you guys have a little bit of everything. You guys have mini bowling in a lot of
Absolutely.
your,
Yeah.
so
So like I was telling somebody last week, I said, I was talking to about, hey, when you speak about our brand and you don't lead with mini golf. Mini golf happens to be our core product. And what we've done with mini golf is special: black flights, moving monsters, DJ on the golf course, custom artwork. It's truly an immersive experience,
yeah,
but we're a family entertainment center. Mini golf is just our anchor. So
yeah,
we're not the green, the antiquated green golf course on Myrtle Beach with a dinosaur. That's not us. Our
yeah,
version of mini golf is different, but we've got arcade games and party rooms, and then it's a la carte. If you find a space big enough and the economics work, you can do laser tag or bowling. So it's really a plug and play indoor family entertainment. What sets us up, and I think is very niche, and the opportunity is we don't need the 40 or 50,000 square foot that a trampoline park or a bowling alley needs. It can go into 10,000 square foot, or we can go into 20. So we can be completely modular, which really helps us in the real estate today. There's a lot
sure,
of your junior anchors like your Party Cities and your Tuesday mornings, and they're going out of business in these plazas. These plazas need entertainment or something that'll bring footsteps back to help the co-tenancy. We can go into 12,000. We can go into, and we design our own courses and our own spaces. So we could go into a funky space that's narrow and has a weird dog leg, and we can make it work. So I
okay,
think there's a lot of opportunity in our nimbleness. And then we let form follow function, meaning we don't chase the 15,000 square foot. I would rather go into 10 knowing the economics are better. I've got
yeah,
stores in 9,500 that can still generate 1.5 million out of that box in a year. That's the opportunity. And bigger's not always better.
sure.
Look at the economics and let that guide the deal.
Yep. Well, and real estate comes up a lot with my clients just because they're afraid of it. But I tell them all the time, some of these, like you said, Party Cities, some of these landlords are very accommodating as far as getting some in there that's going to sign a multi-year lease. I mean, they are just easier to deal with than some of I used to have retail stores. We needed A+ locations, but I think some of these, as long as you can Google search it and it's within a neighborhood within reach of you, people will drive. What's the average drive time or how
Oh,
far do
the
you think
average
people?
drive time is probably 15 minutes at least.
Yeah.
And, it can mean different things in different cities, but you're right. We're truly a destination business. If
Yeah.
you run a great product, if you generate your word of mouth, if you do your job, SEO and digital and all those tools that are out there today to put your brand in front of you, people will drive to a great experience.
Yep. And this is what I tell my clients. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but basically the business, obviously there's mini golf. It's blacklit, has really cool monster themes. I've shown pictures and everybody loves that part. And then you have arcade that they can kind of select the games they want, but it can include like mini bowling, like I mentioned earlier.
Right.
And then you have birthday party rooms that you can rent out. So the base model of this, I tell them, if you don't want to get into food, you don't have to do food. It's catered in. You rent out these spaces. You sell party packages. But I think last time I talked to you at the convention, there were some locations that were kind of testing out light food, or is it still
No,
no
we
food?
so when I say we're modular, if it's the right fit and it's the right space, and for that one, you have to have the appetite for a little higher investment, a little higher cost of goods once you're operating, because food
Yeah.
changes the model a bit. But we've
Sure.
had some people that have come to us from, other brands in entertainment or food brands where they're comfortable with the light food.
Yeah.
And when I say light food, they're doing pizza for their parties. They're doing maybe pretzels, maybe some hot dogs, some
Yeah.
nachos. It's a light snack bar
Sure.
type environment. But we have several stores now that if they want to take on that and they feel comfortable with it, absolutely, it's an option. What happens for the most part is people don't join our brand wanting that. They don't
Yeah.
want that type. They want something very simple. If you think about it, mini golf and arcade is about as simple as you get. I
Yeah.
hand somebody a club and a ball. They walk the 18 holes. They hand that back to me. So what I
Yeah.
leave them with is the memory. I don't leave that, and there's no real hard cost on me as soon as you put that restaurant in there that is. So we show it to everyone as an option, but most people opt out of it. They're
Yeah.
just looking for simplicity of operation, which then lets you back out of the business and just keep your thumb on the pulse in a more reasonable amount of time. The more complex it is, the more you're going to have to be in it,
Yeah.
every day or for a long period of time. So we just try to keep it very simple
Yeah.
for a reason.
Yeah, and you bring up a great point. So most of my clients either always want to be semi-absentee, passive, semi-involved, all the terms that's thrown out there. But being an ex-business owner, franchisee, I tell them all the time, you have to be in it pretty heavily the first 6 to 12 months, if not 2 years, if you've never run a business or really need that learning curve. But before we got on, we were prepping, you were just saying how little you guys really need to go into your locations, like your wife. But obviously there's that front end work, but then, just as long if you want to talk to that, just the process, maybe the candidates, the type of candidate you're looking for, and then just the lifespan of a franchisee where they're in it for an amount of hours and then kind of, like you said, back out and what that looks like.
Yeah, I mean, the ideal candidate, I mean, I know it's kind of cliche, but it could be anybody. We have a lot of people coming from finance. We have a lot of people coming from corporate America. They're just looking for a lifestyle change. Our
Mhm.
franchisees need to care about the business. They need to have a passion for serving people and putting smiles on people's face and just generally enjoy people. You
Yeah.
have to have that because that's really what we do. We create memorable moments for families and humans of all ages is kind of our tagline. What was that? What's the second part of that question? Oh, the lifestyle of a franchisee. So
Yeah.
yeah, with anything, there's going to be heavy lifting on the front end, and the heavy lifting that you put in to follow the system and really, take it the way that we deliver it. You can be in that business for 4 to 6 months, heavy lifting, and then you can reap the rewards long term of backing out. I don't want to use myself as an example too much, but myself and my wife and my businesses, we have a with the corporate office. She runs our stores. I could walk in some of my mini golfs, and my employees would probably try to sell me golf because I'm just not there very
Yeah.
frequently.
Yeah.
She's done a really good job. Our first store, we opened 5 years ago. She was in it hard for about 6 months. She was able to back away. The second store, because now you have more human capital because of the first. The second store, she was in it about 3 months. The third store, she was in it for about a month. And now we have 3 operational stores. We've opened 3 in 5 years in the Charlotte
Mhm.
area, and she's in it about 6 hours a week, cumulatively, usually during the day when our kids are in school. We're very active family. But I'll say the differences in our brand are the people that are passionate. Their finger is on the pulse of it. So she's not living in the business, but does she know what's going on in that business? All 3 of them, every minute of every day and constant communication with the managers, 100%. So
Yeah.
backing away doesn't mean not paying attention. Backing away just means you're not physically there, but you're completely dialed in mentally.
Yeah. No, I tell people all the time, you guys are just a great fit for so many investors that want to get either out of corporate America or just want to build something investment wise I mean, you can scale this thing. If you can get 3 or 4 of these, you're doing really well, life-changing money, as long as you're following the plan. But no,
100%.
I think I've talked to friends. My social time, I talk to my friends, is like, hey, do you, because I think one in Omaha would be great.
We're
I
gonna,
think I
we're
told
gonna get to Omaha at some point.
I know. I think it'd be great here. So if it's not me part of it, I'll find somebody. But no, I think this has been great. I'll try to keep the video short, but anything else you want to touch on that maybe we haven't talked about?
No, I think what's interesting about us, like I said, there's still a lot of opportunity. Not
Yeah.
often do you get legacy support, legacy lessons learned. People one of my partners has been a franchisee for 18 years. one of our
Wow.
executive leaders. I mean, you don't get that and get emerging brand opportunity for the most part. What I
Yeah.
would say is up until last year, and mentioned earlier, you brought Sean and we got a 3-pack. We had a 2-pack in Nashville. Up until last year, this is very interesting. It validates very well. Last year, we had never sold more than one. But we're
Okay.
60% multi-unit. So that
Yeah.
just means if you do one and it doesn't work, why would you open 2, 3, 4, 5? I've got several people opening their second, already committed to their third, opening their third, already committed to their fourth. They started with one, so
Yeah.
it just shows the validation of scale. And really the trust and I would say just the moral compass and the growth behind it, that these people are just doubling down over and over and over again because they're having extreme success with something that they love and that they're
Yeah.
passionate.
Yeah. This isn't a high stress business. I could just see it being a
No,
just
and
a
it'll keep you
fun.
young. I mean, dealing with people and being around kids and
Yeah.
smiles and laughter. I mean, that's the fountain of youth.
Yeah. No, that's perfect. Well, I appreciate you doing this. I'll post this and I'll have the website for Monster Mini Golf, myself, and just how to get in contact. And hopefully we can find some more franchisees for you. And maybe we'll do another one of these in the future, just an update. But I appreciate you coming on, and it's been great.
No, my pleasure. And Dan, I appreciate not only this, but the support for our brand that you've showed us. I mean, like I said, we're kind of new to this space. We've only been, in your network for probably a year.
Mhm.
So, the support really means a lot to us. So yeah, we really appreciate it. And we, if you bring us your candidates, we'll absolutely take care of them.
I've only got good feedback from everybody I've sent your way, so I appreciate it. And it's Friday, so have a good weekend.
I'm getting prepared for a wintry mix in Charlotte. So, but maybe we'll just shut down and hang out and not have computers because the power's out, but we'll see.
There you go. Is it going to be hitting you pretty hard?
Well, I think, yeah. And Charlotte's one of those cities that's not prepared. We don't have the
Yeah.
infrastructure because it never snows. And I think it's just going to be ice. So I think I think our Sunday is a wash here. And
Got
then
it.
we'll see how cold it stays and, and when it gets melted. But
Yeah.
everybody's, buying their bread, buying their water and
Sure.
hunting down.
Yeah. Well, good luck. Yeah, stay inside and catch up on any kind of Netflix you've been missing.
Thanks so much, Dan. Appreciate
All
your
right.
time.
Yep. Yeah, we'll see ya.